who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright. Yep.
Yeah. I got something.
That's amazing.
I
did not even. I love that.
She was way more well known than I was when we first got together. I was always well aware of the fact that I was going to have to work very hard to not just be known as like, oh, he's that guy that dates Mickie James.
Triple H could give one shit about John Cena's legacy. There's a part of Triple H that wants to have a legacy that's bigger than John Cena's. So trust me, bro, he's not going to do him any favors on the way out.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
What's going on, everybody? A special edition of Lazy Booking Podcast TV. Raw recap issue here. Myself, my compadre for the evening here, one Mr. Ritz. What's up, brother?
What's going on? It is WrestleMania week, and we kick things off with an electric go-home show from Monday Night Raw.
Absolutely, yes. It's been it's going to be a fun week this week. It's the week that we all wait for. Yeah, the week we wait for as pro wrestling fans. We're excited to talk to you guys tonight. This is a Lazy Booking Podcast TV exclusive. And yeah, man, we had our WrestleMania 8 watch party. If anybody wants to catch that, we did that on Friday. Go check it out. If you're going to watch an old WrestleMania, you want to watch it with some of us, put it on, watch it while you're watching that, and you're going to have a good time, I promise you. We had a great time while we were doing it with Eric and Billy. But we appreciate you guys chiming in here, jumping on with us. Please like, subscribe, follow, most importantly, join our conversation. We want you to be a part of it. As we recap the highlights of Monday Night Raw, we're going to talk Punk and Roman Reigns in their final confrontation, Seth Rollins and Gunther in their confrontation, Femi, Brock Lesnar contract signing, and if we can, we'll try to get to Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. So saddle up. We got what's going to probably fly by a quick 30 minutes to get in here with you guys. And before we do that, we do want to remind everybody here at the top of the show, tomorrow night, just to lay out our week, tomorrow night on the Lazy Booking Podcast, we'll be live on A2D Radio, which you can also find here on YouTube and all our social media platforms. We're going to be doing our night one preview show. That's tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be coming at you live on A2D Radio. Then the following day, we'll post that show on this page on this channel as a repost. And then following that, Wednesday, our exclusive here on Lazy Booking Podcast TV, we're going to be previewing night 2 of WrestleMania. We always like to do our round tables and other things, so we're excited for that.
Also, keep in mind, we are live exclusively on my Twitch account as well. And all Lazy Booking Podcast exclusives will be going over there live as well. So shout out to my guys over there in the pantry on Twitch.
Yeah, and then obviously, listen, Saturday, we're not going to be coming at you with a live reaction. However, Ritz and his compadres are going to come at you guys. They're going to start around 45 minutes to an hour early before WrestleMania Night 2. And they're going to do live reaction tonight too. And give you guys their raw reaction to everything. So it's very exciting, and we love that you guys are here with us. But let's jump into it. Is this here we go? Is this set the flower shop? No, it's not there. Appreciate you, Billy, jumping in here. But yeah, listen, I thought this was an entertaining go-home show leading into WrestleMania. I felt like in terms of the big programs, I felt like we checked all the boxes. I actually felt like, unlike most Monday Night Raws, this one actually felt like it went by fairly quickly. I didn't think the commercial breaks were too much, as it typically feels like. But let's just dive right into it. We'll go right to the close of the show. Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Roman does the cold opening where he sits down, does a promo. They show clips of Punk from past and present, basically calling Punk a hypocrite. And then we open the show. We go to the go home segment, and these two have a promo. And I don't know what your thoughts were on the promo, Andy. It became a less of a I hate you for what you did and more of I hate you for who you are, and a jealousy on each end. Punk resents that Roman was given the ball and given that push that he was never able to get. Felt like there was an entitlement, as opposed to the other side with Roman, where he said that he hates Punk because of who he is, because he went away for 10 years and people continue to chant his name, and he just wishes that that's what he could have. And he hopes that when his career ends, that he gets the same kind of thing where people are dying for him to come back. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this one, Andy.
Well, so I'm very lucky. Last week, I got to sit in the Toyota Center and listen to Punk live and cut that incredible pipe bomb-esque promo about how just everything, literally ripping Roman to shreds and taking this whole story to another level. And then you go to tonight and you go to specifically Punk's part. He walked, and what nobody realizes, last week he walked out of the arena through the crowd, and this week he walked into the arena through the crowd. And he stood on that ring apron and he talked, and he said, just like you alluded to it, I did some self-reflecting, and I don't hate you. I hate who you are. I hate the fact that I wasn't born into a wrestling family. I hate that wrestling has more than one royal family. I hate, and which was a beautiful shot at Cody. I hate that I took your father's name in vain, because I respect the old timers. I hate that I didn't grow up in this business, that I had to crawl, scratch, fight, and work my ass off in the independent scene in order to be somebody in this business. And then you had the silver spoon and you ran with it. But I was champion for 434 days, and I know how hard that was. You were champion for almost 3 times that. No, yeah, 3 times that. So I can't imagine what that was like. And he does a beautiful job of putting Roman over without saying a really nice thing about Roman. It was all, I hate that you did this. I hate. And then Roman got the microphone, and Roman got to talk about how you took your ball and you ran home, and you whined, bitched, and moaned for over 10 years. And yet the people in arenas like this all around the world chanted CM Punk. And they never stopped. And I can only dream that when I am done and long gone and my boots are collecting dust, that they do the same for me. And then for Punk to say sporadically through his promo, stop me when I'm telling lies. It was a beautiful, like, as a writer, as somebody that writes a lot, like I was writing through the whole show. And as somebody that loves to write, and you think of speeches and you think of, moments in TV and literature and different things like that, repeated phrases land really, really well, right? Like one of my favorite shows is The West Wing, and it's the streets of heaven are too crowded with angels tonight. If you've watched that series, you know what that means. And for Punk to go, stop me when I'm telling lies, it was poetic. It was beautiful. And then for Roman to say, yeah, you're right. Everything you said was right. Except that part at the end where you said that you were going to be holding the title above your heads. But I loved it. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm on a roll here. When Punk said, and Punk's not wrong. Technically, Punk's not wrong. He will be, at some point, gold will be held above his head. But the big question is, will he be the one holding it? Or at the end of the night, will those ones go to the sky? And we will all acknowledge the OTC. It was beautiful. Last 2 weeks are the most Raw I've watched in months. And this was beautiful. I'm so excited for this week. I clearly am very amped. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said it all, right? Like, I think that we're touching on who the real characters are and what the IWC impression is of these people, right?
Mhm.
So I like the realism in that and the realisticness in that. And Roman goes back and apologizes for what he said about Roman's dad and like a genuine apology. And what I do like about these two guys is that when they convey emotion, it feels genuine. And the fact that there is a real 10 plus year history amongst these guys really sets the stage for what I think could be one of the best main events we've seen in a long time. I like that Punk made the statement of, you know, I hate that my first singles main event after all these years has to be against you. There was just so many little things that were said, and you're right. There were shots and statements made that covered a number of people, like you said, the Cody Rhodes thing and this and that. It was Punk setting the stage of saying, it's not just you, Roman, that I have this resentment towards. There's other people here too. Someone like a Cody Rhodes. I didn't have those doors opened for me. I had to to bust my ass and work to get here. And I did. I love the promo. Um, you know, do I think if I want to nitpick, is it a little silly that we went weeks and weeks and weeks where he wasn't going to apologize and all of a sudden he just comes out and apologizes the week before Mania? Okay. Whatever. But no, overall, really great promo between these guys. Strong. I didn't need the physicality. I think we've gotten enough of that. And I really enjoyed this promo for these guys. I'm looking forward to this main event. What do you got?
I laugh that you say that we didn't need the physicality, because I think back to your interview last week with Russo, and which you guys can check out on in the archives. I believe it's on here, isn't it?
It is. It's posted both on A2D radios as well as we do have it posted because
That's what I thought.
All of our flagship shows that we do. Our flagship show is Tuesday nights on A2D. It's where it's been for almost 9 years at this point. Almost 9 years. So our primary show continues to run on there for anybody who tunes in, and you'll find that live, and then we repost that here, and then we do other shows live on here.
But I digress. I thought about that interview with Russo and how he talked about everything was, a promo and then a fight, promo and a fight. And that's what it was tonight. And I laughed and I thought about that. And I want you to remember that I said that as we talk about this. But for something we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But I thought that with Roman and Punk, it was so important not to have them touch. We've done it for weeks. And for Roman to end it was also very poignant, right? For him, those last words, the last words of the broadcast tonight were acknowledge me. It sums up 10 years of WrestleManias.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, Vince is one of our favorite guests. He comes back on with us frequently. Isn't that pro wrestling, brawls and fights? Isn't that brawls and promos? Like that's basically what we do. So love Vince to death. I wasn't on board with that statement. But in terms of this, you got both. What else are we getting? I don't need a backstage segment. I'm good. They gave us a cold open. There's your difference. There, we got something different.
It was so cool.
It was good. It was well done. I wasn't sure if we were going to get Roman because of the cold open, but I'm glad that we did. Moving forward, let's get into what we saw between Seth and Gunther. So,
and we're here.
Yeah. So I will say I really, really enjoyed this segment. Listen, we know how we got here, right? It was supposed to be Ray versus Gunther, supposed to be Braun versus Seth. Injuries for 3 of the 4 really created a lot of uncertainty. There's speculation that Braun might be healthy at this point, but we don't really know that for sure. I think that the Ray inclusion, because obviously he's healthy now, but it was too late to get the wheels rolling on that. I think at that point they had already committed to Seth and Gunther. So, listen, you need an explanation as to why is this happening. I thought Gunther was brilliant here in his explanation. Seth Rollins comes out and he talks about he's this and he's that, but then he comes out and he hides behind everybody. And I respect a man who stands on his own 2 feet and is what he says. I almost felt like we were borderlining a face promo here for Gunther. Because again, it's one of those things where there's nothing he said that I felt like he was wrong. So, but I liked this, and this is again more character development for Gunther. And we have Amber saying hi. Hey, Amber, what's going on? Appreciate you chiming in here. Remember, guys, anything you have to say, any thoughts, anything else, please drop them in here.
I thought that the beautiful thing about Gunther and this career killer, which they've started calling him now, and it's even on his lower third graphic. He's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's just the guy. He's the guy that's going to come in and he's going to put you to bed one way or another. He's going to put your career at rest. He doesn't have to be a bad guy for that. He doesn't have to be a good guy for that. And I think that promo that we saw tonight was just that. It was truly Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him, looking at Seth and going, "You're a spineless bitch and I'm going to beat your ass." Right? And first things first, I'm so glad we're not getting Gunther Ray. After seeing Ray kind of like jog down to the ring tonight, and this is the greatest way to have Ray on his last WrestleMania and be protected and not be shown to be a shell of his former self. That besides the point. But God, I hope I'm wrong though. But with Seth and Gunther here, well, I said it when we were talking about Russo and how Russo said everything's a brawl and a fight and whatever have you. It didn't feel like what Russo was saying where it was a fake fight or whatever have you. No, these two were going for the jugular. And when Seth hit him that first time, that first forearm, I'm pretty sure that was a stiff one because you saw Gunther kind of go, "What the hell?" and then just clean him, right? This is not going to be a wrestling match in its most traditional sense. I think this is going to shape out to be a fight. If you look at the singles matches on the card in general that aren't for a title, these are fights. And they're so personal and they're so just driven by a hatred for the other. And Gunther and Seth are sitting at the pinnacle of that. And they're really setting themselves up for a great match on this weekend. And the only problem I have with it, and again, injuries, things happen, you want to get people on the show, whatever have you. He's not killing Seth's career this weekend. Right?
Right.
And that's where the Paul Heyman inclusion comes in at. It's an excuse.
Well, no. So, this isn't our preview show, but I'm going to put this out there now because I want to be at least the first one on our shows to say it. Watching last week and how that transpired with the backstage segment between Gunther and Heyman. Mm-hmm. Basically, Gunther kind of pulling the CM Punk, "You owe me, you owe me more than a thank you."
Yeah.
My gut is telling me this is leading to Gunther Brock at WrestleMania, and Heyman. He's going to have Heyman be the one to set the match up, and he is going to be the one to take Brock out at SummerSlam. This is going to lead to Gunther Brock at SummerSlam, and that is going to be where whether Heyman turns on Brock and ends up joining Gunther, I don't know. But regardless, I think the favor is going to come down to some way of setting up SummerSlam to be Gunther and Brock. Or the favor is going to be he has to put his career on the line.
We'll get into it more in the next in the coming days, right? I've got a lot to say on that. Throw it to me first.
Yeah. We'll bring that up over the next couple of days. That's a night 2 match, correct?
I think I get Oba Brock. I'm gonna pull up the card. You keep talking. I'll pull up the card.
Yeah, I believe that's a night 2 match. We'll discuss that when we do our night 2 preview on Wednesday.
No, it's a night 1 match.
Oh, it is night 1. Okay, so we'll be talking about that tomorrow then. And remind me, I will make sure to throw to you.
Yep.
Because I'll open up that conversation when we get to previewing that match. But yeah. Anyway, love this segment. Now we have a reason behind it other than Gunther just coming out and attacking him. It served a purpose in a short period of time. I feel like they threw a believable reason for this match to happen, and it's two guys who are two of the biggest names right now in the company. So,
and I think they're two of the best. I think when you get
Agreed.
down to the brass tacks of it, I think technically they're two of the best, and they can do some amazing things in the ring together.
Agreed. And we are definitely going to dive into the conversations more, Andy, on if you've fully come around on the Gunther thing, because we have not really dove into that since you were really not in it. It's been a while since we sat down and had a conversation.
Which part of the Gunther thing?
Well, there was I could pull up clips from when you were totally against everything that was happening with Gunther and this and that, and he was
with
boring.
His title run?
Vanilla.
His title run sucked.
No, you still said he was even after the fact, and I said they're setting him up to either turn face or be a killer. But we'll talk about it. We'll dive into it. I want to talk. I want to have a conversation about it. It seems like you're coming at least along for this ride, which I love. We get our contract signing, our makeup for last week. They do the segment where they have them come out at different times. And we have Brock open up the show, comes out, signs the contract. Later on in the show,
goes home.
Yeah. Well, Brock, any show Brock's on, he's opening and he's out of there. And then we end up having later in the show, we have Oba come out. Paul Heyman interrupts. Paul Heyman basically says to him, "You are the fastest rising monster we've seen since Brock Lesnar." So the comparisons are happening.
Mm-hmm.
The parallels are being put together. And then, of course, Heyman says, when you lose and you got to rebuild your career, I'll be there for you, pal. Which I love that.
And
I want to get your thoughts on the segment and get your thoughts on Oba's response.
First of all, I was there last week. Incredible. But hearing that entrance on TV and just how deafening they were tonight. It was a great crowd all night long. Don't get me wrong. But just deafening for Oba. And even Paul, you could tell at one point he was like, what the hell is this? Because Oba is still so fresh and so new to the main roster alone, but also to the business from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
But then Oba, after Paul says, you can be a Paul Heyman guy, essentially, goes on to cut what I think is his best promo of his career. The only thing I didn't like, and I talk about repeated phrases, is when he says at the end, "I'm the one." He said it in a row, which didn't work because it just felt like he was either waiting for a cue or he should have, it would have been hysterical. He says, "I'm the one in the one that was the 21-1. If you want to do a real callback in comparison to Brock Lesnar. Right? But Oba is great on the mic. He doesn't. A lot of people have said that if Brock Lesnar, with Oba getting the upper hand, Brock Lesnar's winning this weekend. I'm still going to argue that because you got to think about it. Monday night, Brock's not going to be there. Oba is. And what better way to really put the rocket on this kid than to have him be the one that beats Brock? Because then if you are going to set up Brock Gunther, you have more reason to do so.
Right.
Well, Brock, you can't beat the new kid. Right? And so building these parallels and creating that monster that is going to be Oba Femi no matter what he does, bad guy, good guy, in-betweener, guy who walks out and beats a jobber's ass for 10 seconds. Doesn't matter. You're setting up this kid for so much success. My only fear is that they screw it up before the year's over.
Which is a fair fear because of what we've seen with NXT talent. But I'll tell you what. This dude came in and instantly the crowd got behind him. And it doesn't matter how over guys tend to be in NXT. It seems like it's a real struggle when they get to the main roster because, to Russo's credit, when you talk about casual fans, they don't watch NXT. The hardcores do. The WWE lifers do. You know what I mean? So I think the fact and this was the point that I made to Vince Russo on the show. I'll probably bring this back up tomorrow. But if I'm watching for the first time, and most people know who Brock Lesnar is, even if you're not a huge wrestling fan, because he is a very well-known athlete. He's been on, other than the UFC stuff, he's been featured on ESPN, and obviously he's in the news now as well, right?
Yeah.
When you see Brock Lesnar and you see this guy come in and he has this walk, which you could have thought would be the silliest thing ever. I think the first time I saw it in NXT, I was like, I don't know if I really get this. But man, when that music hits and that strut starts. And
have you seen it? Have you seen it live?
I haven't. Like, this is the first time I'm watching this guy, and then I go and I look and I see everybody in the crowd. Everyone in the crowd is doing. Like, I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, there's something's got to be special about. My eyes want to stick to the television. I want to see more. I want to know why this guy feels and looks so special. So the idea that, like, again, I said this before, just because it's Brock Lesnar, and whether Vince was right or not, that people don't give a shit about Brock Lesnar's booking anymore, which I disagree with, by the way. And that was proven when you saw the John Cena squash. Mm-hmm. When you see when you see the reaction to an Oba Femi, that is impactful. And that is something that makes people want to watch. When actual news outlets are covering Brock Lesnar, Newsweek and all these other things are posting things, there's eyes on the prize. So I just have to say, I think it's a big opportunity. I think it's going to be really hard to screw this up. I'm not saying they can't, but so far they've gotten it right with him and I believe Trick Williams.
Oba reminds me, so like the walk and everything. Like, if I'm a casual fan or if I've never watched it before, the first words out of my mouth is, what in the Black Panther and Baku is this? Because that's what that's who he looks like, and that's how he acts. Like, I think of every time I see the walk, every time I see him go down to the ring, whether he's in the I call them rock shirts, right? Those $5,000 looking shirts, or he's ready to go whoop someone's ass, he looks like he should pop right out of the Jabari. Right? It's incredible, and it's captivating. And you think about a Trick Williams, you think about an Oba Femi, you think about, even, and I'm going somewhere with this, so stay with me. Even LA Knight, even Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Joe Hendry, trying to think, Johnny Gargano at one point, to not pick a similar one. Roman Reigns too. What they all have the same thing in common. There is something about their entrance that makes you want to watch. And the fan interaction aspect of it is crazy. Whether it's a yeet, or the fact that a walk got over. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, right? We got to walk over, right? Everybody's just sitting there strutting in their seat
Well, listen, it's the most impactful walk since the Vince walk. So it's special. He's a special talent. I think it's going to be really hard for them to screw that up.
God,
But
I
again,
hope you're right.
yeah, we'll deep dive into that again tomorrow. But our final topic that we want to cover that we felt like was impactful from the show is we have Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. They've really ramped up the intensity of this. Obviously, Liv cracks heads with Roxanne last week. Massive knot on her head. Comes out. She's got the bangs over her head this week.
She tried so hard all week to hide it, too.
Listen, I'll say the physicality between them has been top notch, and I think the one thing with Stephanie Vaquer has been where's been the killer instinct of a champion, where's been the fighting instinct, and Liv has brought that out of her. So I thought this was a good segment for both. Again, Liv's a little. I have a hard time when I see this version of Liv, which is fine. I'm cool with it. But then I see a goofy fucking music video later in the show.
I didn't think we were going to talk about it.
Well, we're not going to deep dive into it, but I'm like, why are we choosing this time to do that?
And somebody, I saw it, I think, on one of the comments they put up on the show. I think this is her new theme going into WrestleMania.
Maybe.
And if it is, okay, fine. Did you need to shoot a music video for it? No. Did I think they thought something more was going to come of this? Maybe. Music video withstanding, I'm going to give Liv a lot of credit. That final shot of her being held back by, which is hysterical, that Shane Helms and Jason Jordan were struggling to hold her back. But that final shot of her with those big beady eyes and that crazed look on her face, right? She does that wonderfully in every program she's in, right? And then what I don't get is we've done such a, I don't want to say a disservice, but explain to me the reason of keeping Stephanie Vaquer borderline protected through all her title runs, right? Like even some of her stuff on NXT, I like she just didn't do enough for me. Like in the ring, you're great, you're amazing, but you're really shying away from that physicality outside of the ring. And now with this program with Liv, and especially last week and this week, we really got to see that. And I think you need more of that in her builds, because now I'm ready for this fight. Like this is going to be a fight for the title on Saturday. And I don't know who. We're going to get into it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got a few different ways that this can go.
Sure.
But I think this really made me more tonight made me more invested in this match than I was previously. Because if you would have asked me last week, I probably would have told you I was more interested in the Rhea Jade match than I was in the Liv Stephanie match.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Shout out to Kathy Kelly, by the way, for taking a nice bump here.
But Corey couldn't sell that worth a damn. When they cut after they're carrying Kathy out, Corey has this look on his face. Is like, really? Off of that bump?
Yeah.
Like that look for me for Corey. It was didn't like it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as you see referees and they take bumps and it's like they got shot in the face. Like my favorite. My favorite is, they got a little bit squashed and they're knocked out. Like if somebody does a splash and the referee gets pulled, they take a splash and it's like
they're dead.
They're dead. They're actually dead. It's very bizarre. Yeah, I got all the background noise because I had to do the show outside tonight.
No,
it's a 30-minute show. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, listen, very excited for this match. I think they've done a good job to reignite the interest in this match as well.
I think WWE did a great job tonight, really setting the stage for WrestleMania week.
Well, listen, they had the 6-man tag that was featured. They were able to promote SmackDown by pushing the MFTs versus the Wyatts. They were able to feature the talent that's going to be in the Intercontinental title ladder match, which I'm still very excited for. It was a good job. The show flowed, and that's all I really wanted. Yeah, it's not. Some of these shows can really drag, and I felt like that was not the case here. It was a good go home show. It also has me excited for SmackDown, which, by the way, somebody is going to do a SmackDown recap show for us. I know it won't be me this time around. Eric, maybe Ritz might be on that if he's available. So make sure you guys tune into that Friday. So let's just kind of set the stage again of where we're going here for our week. Let's lay our week out for everybody here so they know where to find us, when to find us. So we did this tonight. This was kind of on the cuff. We're like, let's just do 30 minutes of the recap show.
This is an 8:30 a.m. decision.
Yes. Tomorrow night on A2D Radio. Go in on your podcast platforms or your social medias. Search A2D Radio. Agree to Disagree Radio. A2D Radio. And find or subscribe, all that. Set your alerts. We're going to go live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We're going to preview night 1 of WrestleMania, main evented by Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, got Brock Lesnar, Femi. We have a number of matches. So make sure you guys get over there, do that, set yourselves up. We'll do that live. And then the following day on this channel, Lazy Booking Podcast TV, this will be dropped for you to watch on here. Wednesday, later start time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do our night 2 preview show of WrestleMania. It's going to be a great conversation. This is the night we really feel is a bit of a stacked card. So we're excited to talk about this with you guys. Make sure you guys get over there. Check out A2D Radio so you don't miss tomorrow. Because the thing with us, guys, we want you to be a part of the conversation. We want your thoughts, opinions, your questions, your answers for our questions. We want you guys to be a part of our conversation. And then on the other side of that as well, Andy's going to be doing a live reaction on Sunday, not Saturday, but on Sunday. He's going to jump on about a half an hour or about 45 minutes to an hour before WrestleMania.
The aim is 5:15 Eastern time.
There you go.
On Sunday, and we're going to go through the whole show. We're going to do a 45-minute recap of night 1, kind of talk about how we feel. And then we're going to be right there as things kick off with Oba Brock live on ESPN and all the way through leading up to Punk and Reigns closing out the show. And then we'll do a quick little recap following. It's going to be a long one, so definitely stick with us all night long.
Yeah, and that's going to be here on Lazy Booking Podcast TV. Obviously, our WrestleMania recap full show will be on A2D Radio the following Tuesday. And obviously, we'll let you guys know when that's going to come as we get closer to that. And again, we're likely going to be doing a SmackDown recap show, another 30-minute, 40-minute show to recap the go-home episode of that.
To sum it all up, if you haven't yet, if you're not liked, if you're not subscribed, if you're not following us, what are you waiting for? This is Super Bowl week for wrestling fans. This is the week that we look forward to all year long. There's going to be so much content pumping out of this channel, of my Twitch on A2D Radio. It's exclusivity that you don't have to pay for. So why aren't you a part of it? Be a part of the conversation. Be a part as we make history, and be a part of WrestleMania with us.
Absolutely. And I remind people, we just had Vince Russo on last week. We talked about all the major programs. We talked about his conversation with Tony Khan regarding AEW. And I will tell you guys, it is our most viewed show on YouTube that we've had in our 9 years of being on YouTube, really 10 years of the podcast, right? This year's our 10th anniversary.
You too?
Yeah. It is
Hey.
our most viewed episode that we've had. If you look at the clips that we've put on socials, a lot of reactions, a lot of very heavy, deep reactions from people. It was a must-see show. Vince is always a great guest, whether you love him or you hate him. One thing I'll tell you, for us, we just love him because he's a great guy.
It's a good.
But
I'm not the biggest Vince Russo fan, and
no, you don't agree. But
but I produced last week, and I had a blast listening.
Yeah,
to it.
and listen, people always want to know what he has to say, even the people who are his haters. So go back, check that out. You can find that on A2D Radio, or you can find it here on our channel. We have other past interviews that are on there with tons of talent. Please, guys, make sure you join. Check out the show. We drop exclusive content frequently, and if you set your alerts, you're never going to miss anything. So here we go. We got Ribshot jumping in here last minute. Appreciate you, Ribshot. But yeah, great show tonight, Andy. Thank you for joining us. And
Absolutely.
By the way, if you missed any of the Vince Russo show, as we sign off here and we put our thank you up on the screen, you're going to get a little bit of a taste. Make sure you guys search it out, find it, and watch it and enjoy it. For myself, for Andy, and everybody else here at A2D Radio, or A2D,
Wherever we're at.
Lazy Booking Podcast. Well, A2D Radio as well. Lazy Booking Podcast TV. I forget what night. It's late. It's late for me. It's midnight.
Technically, it is Tuesday.
It is. We love you guys. We thank you guys. As Andy always says,
tell somebody you love them. We'll see you tomorrow night.
We out.
If this WrestleMania is a fart in church, I really, truly believe that Triple H is going to be in very, very, very hot water.